Hi. So, I haven't made a video in quite a while. It's actually been like a month, I think. There hasn't been like a particular reason, like, don't worry, I haven't been like depressed or, any more than usual or whatever. And I'm still here, so, um, anyway, there's no particular reason why I haven't made a video. I've just been doing other things or just like haven't been around to make a video. Anyway, I kind of was inspired by someone else or like there another YouTuber that I met or had contact with. She like was doing this Q&A video and asked me to ask some questions, just about self-harm and depression and whatever. And I came up with um, like 10 questions or something. And and just about like all kinds of things, both like personal and then just like in general. And so yeah, I kind of wanted to do like a of my own, like, even though I haven't got like that many subscribers yet and people who are like following on all of my videos, especially about like self-harm and stuff like that. So these are all just questions that I made up by myself, but like if I'm gonna ask them like if someone else was asking me. Um, so yeah, so the first one is kind of personal. Like it's what forms of self-harm have you used? Cutting, burning, scratching, hitting, biting, hair pulling, hitting your head, keeping wounds from healing, etc. Um, and all those things I've mentioned, except burning, I've actually done them all. Um, the most common form of self-harm, which is cutting, I didn't actually start doing until last year, um, when I was 19. But I started self-harming, like I've said, around like maybe 10, 11, something like that. And I did all sorts of things. I, hit myself, scratched myself, bit myself, pulled my hair, hit my head, kept wounds from healing. Didn't really do like a lot of rubber band things. I just like sometimes I put my nails like into my skin. Um, Sometimes enough that it would bleed a little, but it wasn't like that serious. Um, so yeah, these are the things that I've been doing. But like I said, and like when I started cutting, that's when my self-harm became like serious, because that's really like all those other things you can't really like injure yourself that much, or it's not like life threatening like when you hit yourself or bite yourself, like unless it's like really you bite yourself like that much that it starts bleeding and it's just like really you're just like acting like a vampire or something. Like it was never that serious, but when with cutting it's like much more serious and dangerous, you know, especially like if the cuts are deep. And because you can always like, cut too deep or hit a vein or whatever, and it starts bleeding much and it's just awful. So yeah, that's my forms of self-harm. Yeah, I've never burned myself, not on purpose. I've done it by accident many times and it hurts a lot. Um, so the second question is, what are some warning signs and symptoms that may suggest that a person is self-harming? Is there any way to tell? Um, of course, if you see like scars on the person, uh, like many scars, uh, wherever they are, that the person can't like explain where they came from and stuff, if they're like acting weird and stuff, and they're trying to make an excuse like, oh, the cat did it, or I had an accident, you know, I fell or whatever. I accidentally cut myself. Like, um, I mean, if that happens many times, like more than once, that you see like unexplained cuts or bruises or burns or whatever on a person, that is definitely a warning sign that someone is self-harming. And like if they're just acting weird in general, I don't know exactly, like, I mean, of course it plays in, like if they're depressed, or um, if you know that they've like been suicidal or have maybe hurt themselves some way in the past. um, it's definitely like, yeah, it's definitely a warning sign. And if they're like, you know, trying to cover up, like if they're wearing long sleeves, like in the summer when it's really hot, and most people are like in shorts and t-shirts and stuff, but that person is like wearing long sleeves and is like covering up all their body, um, because they're trying to hide the scars, that's definitely uh, as well, a warning sign or something. Just like if they're just, you know, hiding their body, like especially their arms or stuff, like, and and so yeah, that's definitely a warning sign. And um, can't really think of anything else right now, but that's definitely like the most obvious, I think. I mean, when you see like weird or unexplained scars or something on a person, or bruises or whatever, and they're acting weird and they're trying to make an excuse, but you don't, it's not really believable. And if they're like constantly trying to cover up, you know, wearing long sleeves or wearing bracelets or whatever, just like all the time, even in the summer when it's really hot, and they're just like seem to be very insecure about their bodies and like showing their skin to people and stuff. So yeah. Anyways, I think I'm gonna put this into two parts because otherwise this video will be too long. So I'm gonna try to answer at least two more questions. So the third question is regarding the stigma to self-harm and the misconception that you only do it for attention and you must be crazy and suicidal to ever do this to your own body. Is that true, or is it much deeper than that? So I've said this like in some of my other videos, talked about this a lot. It's definitely the stigma and everything to self-harm. What people think, it's not true. It's definitely a lot. It is much deeper. It's of course there are, you know, it's not always the same story for everyone, and some people of course do it for attention, but I don't, you know, think that they're, real self-harmers, or like they're, I don't know, I mean, why they're, but still, like, whether you're doing it for attention or not, you're still harming yourself, so you're like, you're still self-harming. But most people like don't do it for attention. There are maybe some people who do, but, and they obviously have problems too, since they need to, you know, hurt themselves to get attention. But most people don't do it for attention, and you know, that is because, you know, people go to such lengths and hard work, you know, just to cover it up. Like, that's why we wear long sleeves even in the summer when it's hot. That's why, you know, we wear bracelets and stuff to cover up our arms and our bodies. and um, and that's why we don't tell anyone. Like, we try to hide it, and because we're ashamed of it, and we don't want anyone to find out. And when somebody does find out, it's like, it's just horrible. So no, we're not doing it for attention, and we're not crazy. Many of us are, dealing with depression or some kind of mental illness. Many of people who self-harm have been through like trauma. They've been bullied, they've been sexually abused, they've been, going through all kinds of things, and those things maybe, led them to self-harm, and it was a way for them to deal with their pain. And that is basically what self-harm is. It's just, we all feel pain and we all go through things, and most of us like use something, some substance, or whatever it is. Some people use alcohol, some people use drugs, some people use sex even. Some people listen to music that's better than, or watch TV. I mean, that's definitely better and healthier than all those other things I mentioned. And some people use self-harm just to cope with life and cope with their pain, and it's a coping mechanism. It's a way just to cope, with everything, and it's addictive. And it just becomes a cycle where you can't stop, and you think that you can't live without it, so you feel better while you're doing it, so you just keep using it, so you just feel better and don't have to deal with this inner pain that you feel. So yeah, so that's definitely not true, and people have to realize that, and what exactly is behind it all, and why people do this. So the fourth question is, do you have personal experience in mental illnesses, such as depression, eating disorders, bipolar disorder, borderline personality disorder, etc.? If so, did that affect your self-harm in any way? Is that part of the reason you started? I haven't been like diagnosed with any mental illness. I definitely don't have an eating disorder. I can't really say if I have bipolar or personality disorder or any other disorder because I haven't been diagnosed. I actually took a test the other day, or something, like online. It's not by a doctor or anything, so I don't know like how reliable it is. But it said like the result was that I have severe depression, and even suicidal, because I said I had been suicidal many times, and it said that like I had like some symptoms of bipolar disorder, like some symptoms. So I could be like I have some symptoms that are related to bipolar disorder, but I don't think I really have bipolar disorder, because that bipolar is like when you become really manic. So you're like, 1 minute you're like over the top, like you're ecstatic and everything is going great, and you just feel like you're like rushing into work and just like doing everything, and your energy is just like up here and everything and blah. And then like the next minute or the next day you're like down, you're like more depressed than ever. And so that's how bipolar works. And I don't think I'm like that, because I feel like I'm more depressed than I am like not depressed, and then I'm more sad than I am happy. I have many more days when I am just like depressed and don't feel like doing anything. So I don't think I have bipolar, but like I said, I haven't been diagnosed, so I don't know that. Yeah, so I have depression. I know that. But yeah, anything else, not that I know of. So I'm gonna ask one more question, and then I'm gonna make another video. So the fifth question is, many people who self-harm are being bullied or have been bullied. Bullying is a big problem in today's society, especially with the internet and social media. It's gotten to the point where kids feel the need to physically harm themselves or even take their own lives to make it stop. What can we do to raise awareness and to how much bullying can affect a single human being? So, first of all, I haven't personally been bullied, so I don't have like my own experience in that. I definitely, all through primary school and high school, what I have taken in high school, I definitely felt like really lonely, and because with my social anxiety and stuff. Oh yeah, I forgot my social anxiety and any other question. So anyway, and I'm not really good. I haven't been really good with like making friends or like going up to people and talking to them, and so especially in recent years, I've been very much alone and haven't really made friends like in school and stuff. So I've just always been alone and like haven't really had anyone that I could talk to or stuff. But I've never been bullied. So I mean, I'm lucky with that, I guess. But I know many people who have been bullied. There are so many people, kids and adults who are being bullied every day. And definitely many of them have resulted to self-harm. And I think it has a big effect because, many who are being bullied, not only physically but emotionally, because, it's true what it says that, what does it say? Like sticks and stones can break your bones, but words like break your soul. Like it wasn't like that, but I can't remember what it was. But like it's true. Like of course, like physical like abuse and bullying and stuff, it's horrible. Like, and you get bruises and stuff, but those wounds heal. But the emotional wounds, they never heal. Like what people say to you, it never goes away. You will never ever forget what people say to you. Like if people tell you that you're ugly and you're fat and you're worthless and you should just go on and kill yourself, like people don't forget that. It sticks with you forever, like in here and in your soul. And it really hurts. Like words really hurt, and people have to realize just how much words hurt. And so people, take that, and when it's said to you like so many times, you start believing it. Like you start believing that you're ugly and you're fat and you're worthless. Nobody loves you, nobody wants you. So who would care if I would die? Like you start thinking like that, and you start believing that. And you start believing that you're just worth nothing, and you have so much pain going on inside that you just can't deal with it. You can't control it, so you start hurting yourself on the outside. And that is definitely like so many people who have been bullied have started self-harming, and it really affects you. And we've heard so many stories about kids, teenagers who have taken their own life because they've been bullied, because they were just couldn't handle it anymore, and they were being bullied, and people were just telling them to kill themselves, and people don't even realize what they're saying. And then they see in the news that they kill themselves. And I mean, to me, like, I mean, that's just plain murder. If you ask me, like, people who have, like, these kids who have, killed themselves because of bullies and stuff, those people who bullied them, I mean, they are responsible for their death. And people who just stood by and did nothing while all this was going on. And it's just horrible. It's so heartbreaking and so sad, and that people just allow you to just say anything and do anything, and like people don't even have feelings. And then when that person is gone, when they die, they're like, oh, that's so sad, oh, she was so wonderful. Those are the same people who bullied them. It's ridiculous. It's heartbreaking. And so yeah, it really does affect you. And yeah, definitely many people who have self-harmed, have been bullied, and it affects so much. And just people really need to think about what they're saying. Like, it needs to stop. Like, I don't know what we can do to make it stop, but it needs to stop. Bullies are just, obviously, the people who bully just are going through something themselves. But they take it out on someone else. That's not right. We all go through shit. We all go through something. Like, at some point in our lives, we all, like, go through something, that just ruins us, or, like, and just go through really hard times. But we don't take it out on other people. We don't, emotionally or physically abuse someone else, tell them that they're ugly and worthless and they should just kill themselves, because you never know if they're actually going to do it or not. And then they go and kill themselves, and it's your responsibility. You're responsible for that because of what you said to that person. Like, and people who self-harm, they, the pain they're going through, instead of taking it out on others, we take it out on ourselves physically. And, neither is healthy. But I still think, like, if there's, like, one good thing about self-harm, that's, like, because instead of hurting other people, we are hurting ourselves. And I still think it's better than hurting someone else. But anyway, so yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna make a part 2 of this because this is already too long. So just thank you very much. And remember, if you have any questions, like, come and give me the questions, because I am willing to answer whatever you want to know. Like, I'm no expert. I'm just a girl who's been dealing with stuff. But I just want to help people. I want to help all of you because you are worth recovery. You are worthy. You are loved, and you are so beautiful, all of you. And I'll see you in part 2. So stay strong. Bye.